Okay. Each of you has faced some tough criticism in the public and from each other, whether it's fair or unfair. Even right now, there are people outside, Mayor Duggan, they're blaming you for fudging crime stats, for saying that for the $200 million federal investigation. I mean, it goes on and on, right?
Can't imagine whose supporters they are.
For the $200 million investigation into the demolition program. And Mayor Young, you've been facing criticism from people who are saying you are building a political career on your father's name, and you don't have legislative accomplishments of your own. This is a question of public integrity, which I would like for you to answer specifically. Why should people trust you?
And Senator Young, you're first on this.
Well, I have a 10-year record. I've passed legislation regulating the medical marijuana industry, historic civil rights legislation, making sure that pregnant women receive mandatory paid leave. I've created 10,000 jobs through the movie tax credit industry. I've also passed legislation involving energy cost recovery. I've passed legislation appropriating $2 million to Focus Hope, $500,000 to Charles H. Wright Museum, and $6.8 million for Heat and Eat. Those are programs for heating assistance and food assistance, which allows us to draw down over $300 million from the federal government. But I've also never been investigated for a crime federally, and I've never admitted to bid rigging and colluding on television, like my opponent. I think it's time for integrity. I think it's time for someone that's going to fight for you and your family, who's going to invest in the neighborhoods and not just downtown, who's going to try to fight to end the drug war, not to continue it, who understands that we need people who are trying to put us to work and put the neighborhoods to work, not put the people who donated millions of dollars to his campaign to work. That's why I'm running for mayor. And that's why you should trust me, because I'm unbought and unbossed. My back isn't bent and it's not meant to be ridden.
Mayor Duggan, your thoughts on public trust?
You know, I've lived 30 years in public life, from deputy county executive to running the smart bus system to prosecutor to DMC. And everything the senator said is flat out wrong. There was never any criminal investigation at DMC. The criminal investigation that occurred in Wayne County 20 years ago, the U.S. attorney explicitly said was never targeted at me. And he's making up this nonsense about bid rigging. But I believe the people of the city will make a decision based on what they've seen. And I think integrity is doing what you say you're going to do. And the biggest thing we need in this city is to spread opportunity. Because I am a great believer that the talent in this world is spread evenly. But what is not is opportunity. And particularly with our children, who have no chance to go to school. And so when I talk to parents who say, what do I tell my son and daughter about going to college? We got together and passed the Detroit Promise. And the Detroit Promise, we became the first big city in America to guarantee every single graduate of a high school in Detroit 2 years of community college guaranteed. And then we added to it 4 years guaranteed if you get a 3.0 on your grade point and get 20 on your ACT. So that now moms and dads and grandparents can say to their kids at 12 and 14 and 16, study hard. The money will be there for you. Your future doesn't have to be determined by the zip code that you live in. And that's what I mean by one Detroit for all of us. Everybody can prosper, and we're going to work really hard. 1,200 high school students in college this month on the Promise.
Time. Senator Young, you've got 30 seconds if you'd like it.
Yep. There he goes again. He's saying there wasn't any criminal investigation. He had to pay $30 million to the federal government for violating anti-kickback laws. He admitted on Fox 2 News in front of Charlie Duff on television that he met with 3 contractors, that he had a negotiated price of those contractors. Those 3 contractors got the bids, and then he put the bids out for everybody else a couple days later. If that's not bid rigging, I don't know what is. And if he hasn't done anything, why is the FBI still here?
Senator, that's time. Mayor, 30 seconds for you.
You know, you just don't have the slightest bit of shame. It's just unbelievable. I never met with any contractors. I never said any such thing.
You did.
And there was never any criminal investigation at DMC. You should stop impugning the employees there. There was a civil self-disclosure as part of the sale transaction. There was never any criminal investigation. You just make this stuff up without any regard to what's true.
And that's time for that. Our next question comes from WDIV's Kimberly Gill. Mayor Duggan will be answering this question first. Kim?
Okay, Mayor, this next question is about race, the big pink elephant in the room that nobody wants to really talk about, but is indeed an issue. The region has been plagued by racial division both in the city and the suburbs. Racism, economic segregation, and lack of job opportunities have all contributed to racial tension and fear of a Detroit split between the haves and have-nots. In a city that is 82% African American, is it the responsibility of city government to address racial and economic tensions between longtime residents and new residents? And if so, how will you do it?
It absolutely is the mayor's responsibility. And we do have haves and have-nots. But the responsibility of leadership is to make sure that where you start out does not determine where you end up. It means we have to have paths of opportunity. And there are so many barriers in the city of Detroit. 25% of our residents don't own a car. And when I started, half the buses were in the terminal. People couldn't get to work. You waited for a long time. We added 100 buses, 1,500 trips a week. We have people who don't have job training opportunities. And so we've set up Detroit at Work. And now we have training programs for the hospital jobs. I went to DMC and Henry Ford and St. John's and said, why won't you hire Detroiters? And they said, they don't have the skills. So we started a program with Focus Hope in Oakland University. I just went for the first graduating class of 45 people, 35 of them already have jobs at the hospitals, and the other 10 are being interviewed. We are replicating these opportunities over and over. And some of the people who face the greatest discrimination are returning citizens. If we don't provide opportunities, then folks are just going to get right back up to what they were doing before. And so we started a program in connection with the state at Ryan Prison, where I've been on a number of occasions. And we go into Ryan for folks 6 months before they're going to be released, and offer forklift training for jobs that are there $17 an hour. We offer culinary arts training for chefs, blight training, and we've already had 130 of these prisoners released, 65 straight into good-paying jobs. The job of the mayor is make sure there's opportunity for everyone.
Senator Young, your thoughts on the role of government to address racial, and that can often lead to economic tensions among residents?
Listen, Devin, if you're a black person in this country, you're 3 times more likely to be arrested. You're 3 times more likely to be handcuffed. You're 3 times more likely to be searched. You're 5 times more likely to be incarcerated. You're 6 times more likely to be incarcerated longer than your white counterparts. This is a serious issue. And what we need to do is we need a mayor who understands and hears the cries of the people and is willing to put people back to work, rebuilding our roads, tearing down these abandoned buildings, making sure that minority contractors get jobs, and when they get jobs, make sure they get paid, because that's not going on under my opponent's administration. But secondly, we also need a mayor that's going to talk to the people honestly about race and what's going on. That if you're an African-American person, you are 2 times more likely to be unemployed. Even if you have the same level of college education as your white counterparts, you're 103 times more likely to be in a more expensive mortgage, and you're more likely to have college debt than your white counterparts. That's why we need to raise the minimum wage to $15. That's why we need to make sure that we have people jobs and opportunities, and we have community benefits agreements with legally binding mandates where if they don't hire Detroiters, and if they don't provide benefits in a neighborhood, they're going to be taken to court.
Mayor, would you like 30 seconds more?
I would. Senator Young says we should raise the minimum wage to $15. I agree with him. The problem is the state legislature, while he was there, passed a law that prohibits cities from doing it. If only we had a senator who would fight for us. I've just recently been fighting for another area of discrimination, driver responsibility fees that are keeping 20% of drivers from being able to get to their jobs legally. We passed the bill out of Senate last week. Senator Young, as usual, was AWOL and wasn't there. We're fighting for the rights of Detroiters, and he's not even going to work.
Senator, you've got another half minute.
Yes. Thank you for that. One, what I want to say is, let me say this. I want to make sure that I put people back to work. Secondly, there he goes again. He's talking about what I'm not doing. If only we had a mayor who wasn't under criminal investigation, he would actually fight to make sure that we have minimum wage. The emergency manager was illegal. Hell, bid rigging and colluding was illegal. That didn't stop him. So I don't know why everything that's against the people is all legal, and everything that's for the people is all illegal.
That's
wrong, and we need change.